Man, I'll tell you, that is a blatant act right there.
Number 10, Yuli Gurriel's gesture to Yu Darvish. Game 3 of the 2017 World Series, Houston Astros first baseman Yuli Gurriel gave the bleacher seats a souvenir off Yu Darvish's fastball to give his team a 1-0 lead over the LA Dodgers.
That is smoked. It is gone. 1-0 Houston.
In thoughtless celebration, Gurriel gestured toward the Dodgers pitcher by pulling back his eyelids and uttering a racial slur. The offensive act enraged fans and resulted in Gurriel's eventual suspension from the first 5 games of the 2018 season.
That there is no place in our game for the behavior or any behavior like the behavior we witnessed last night.
Japanese-born Darvish reacted like a gentleman, posting a heartwarming tweet that promoted unity and positivity. Gurriel later apologized and expressed gratitude that he had learned from the experience. It seems unsportsmanlike conduct can sometimes have a silver lining.
I didn't know it wasn't going to be that offended. I just feel, like I say, I just feel bad. I apologize, and whoever got offended over there, it was not my intention.
Number 9, Weatherford College pitcher makes a tackle.
Okay, have you seen this video here? It's already approaching 5 million views on Twitter.
There's benches clearing fights, and then there's this. College batter Josh Phillips from North Central Texas had just hit a go-ahead home run and rounded the bases in traditional celebration. As he reached third, however, Weatherford College pitcher Owen Woodward apparently forgot what sport he was playing as Woodward stampeded off the mound and tackled his opponent like a linebacker.
Oh my, oh no, oh no. That was out of nowhere.
Sure, fights happen amongst competitors, but this extravagant display of unsportsmanlike conduct seemed to have no provocation. While Woodward was initially suspended, the Weatherford coach later confirmed that Woodward was no longer with the team. Frustration is part of the job if you're an athlete, and this is one cautionary tale about the wrong way to unload your anger.
Weatherford's head baseball coach said in a Twitter statement that the team is shocked and disappointed and completely embarrassed, and that the pitcher, Woodward, could even be expelled from school.
Number 8, Ben Davis bunts to end a perfect game. While this example may not technically break any unwritten rules, it sure violates the spirit of respectable baseball. In May 2001, Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher Curt Schilling was working a perfect game against the San Diego Padres, having allowed no runners on base through 8 innings. Ben Davis memorably broke the perfect game with a bunt.
I'll tell you what, from a macho standpoint, a lot of guys won't like that.
Nope.
For context, perfect games are extremely rare achievements in baseball, with only 23 ever officially recorded. In this scenario, the bunt was a cheap and unstrategic hit that robbed Schilling of his shot in the history books. Could you imagine Forrest Gump running nonstop across America only to be tripped? Yeah, it's something like that. Number 7, Izzy Alcantara kicks Jeremy Salazar. There have been many brawls in baseball history. In fact, we have a whole video about it. One in particular stands out, though, as it all started with a kick. When the Pawtucket Red Sox faced the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons in AAA play, batter Izzy Alcantara dodged a pitch that passed a bit too close to his legs. In sudden retaliation, he turned and stomped catcher Jeremy Salazar directly in his face mask. A benches-clearing Donnie Brook followed, but it's the shameless and unwarranted kick that's become famously rewatched footage. It's not only unsportsmanlike conduct, it's an unfair cheap shot in any one-on-one throwdown. Bad form, Izzy. Bad form. Number 6, Brian Walker fakes a hit by pitch.
Walker says that pitch hit him.
Sports and theater may have some commonalities like the butterflies that players feel before taking the main event. Brian Walker took that a bit too far in an SEC West game between Arkansas and Ole Miss. The batter for Arkansas seized an opportunity to convince officials that an inside pitch had struck him on the arm.
From that angle, it doesn't even look like it got close to him.
Contact with a 90-mile-an-hour pitch grants the batter first base, and Walker really showed off his acting chops to get the call. He danced around and clutched his arm in apparent pain, but nobody really bought it. Injuries in athletics are an extremely serious matter, and faking one to gain unfair advantage is an extreme mockery of the game. The officials promptly ejected Walker, and his atrocious acting now makes for hilarious footage. Number 5, Albert Bell's malicious contact.
Oh, this is just like the play in the 3rd inning. And it was Albert Bell back in the 3rd inning. This time he lays it on Vina even more so.
We're back to the major leagues where experienced players know better than this, supposedly. Runners advancing from first will often slide combatively into second, hoping to avoid a double play and 2 damaging outs. Albert Bell took this way too far when barreling through second baseman Fernando Vina. Bell appears to forcibly shove Vina out of the way, knocking the fielder from his feet. As with Alcantara's kick, this aggression is simply uncalled for and can be outright dangerous. That's the whole reason that a malicious contact penalty exists in the rulebook. Rumors flew that the move was retaliation for an earlier play. Even so, this kind of aggression is not cool. It's no wonder this dramatic violation still gets many replays throughout sports media. Number 4, Roberto Alamar and the spitting incident. It's surprising we haven't yet mentioned umpires on our list, as their hotly contested calls can be deciding factors in game outcomes. When the Baltimore Orioles visited the Toronto Blue Jays in 1996, a called strike 3 on Roberto Alamar sent the batter into outrage against plate umpire John Hirschbeck.
Strike 3. Alamar is called out on strikes and not too happy about it.
When Alamar continued to mouth off at Hirschbeck, the latter tossed him out of the game.
Hirschbeck pointing at the Oriole dugout, and he's just thrown Alamar out of the game.
Alamar was so furious, went so far as to confront the official and literally spit in his face.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
Alamar claimed that Hirschbeck had used racist remarks, and he later made insensitive comments regarding Hirschbeck's family history. Fortunately, the two would make amends, shaking hands before a game months later, and even became friends afterwards. Number 3, Pedro Martinez and Don Zimmer brawl.
Oh my goodness. Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez. Oh, that's awful.
Even non-baseball fans might expect a Red Sox versus Yankees appearance here, but perhaps not quite like this. The Bronx Bombers and the Sox faced off in the 2003 Championship Series, where a series of questionably motivated pitches led to a brawl.
Now Ramirez. That ball's not even close.
It was during this showdown that Red Sox pitcher Pedro Martinez grabbed Coach Don Zimmer by his cranium and hurled him to the ground.
Don Zimmer, a 72-year-old man, went into Pedro Martinez's face, and Pedro Martinez threw him down.
It's unscrupulous conduct for baseball, a low blow for a fight, and an everlasting black stain on Martinez's career. Number 2, Houston Astros Sign Stealing Scandal.
We need to move forward with a clean slate, and the Astros will become stronger, a stronger organization because of this today.
In 2019, an official MLB investigation found that the Houston baseball team had been using cameras to steal pitch signs from opposing teams' catchers.
And the evidence was so profound that 1 hour after the Major League Baseball's ruling came down, those dudes were fired. That's evidence. I'm sorry.
The illegal practice had been giving the team a disgracefully unfair advantage as far back as the 2017 season. During that time, Astros slugger Jose Altuve won MVP over Yankee hero Aaron Judge, and Houston defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 2017 World Series. The scandal made those accolades particularly disgraceful, and some even called for Houston to relinquish the championship trophy.
Based on what we know now, what we know from the commissioner's investigation, is that championship tainted?
It's a fair question, and I think everyone's going to have to draw their own conclusion.
More devastatingly, it caused many fans and players to question the sanctity of the very game. That's a blemish that baseball history is unlikely to forget.
I'm really sorry about the choices that were made by my team, by the organization, and by me. I've learned from this, and I hope to regain the trust of baseball fans.
Number 1, Black Sox Scandal.
Sports writer Hugh Fullerton smells a rat. He suggests in the New York Evening World that White Sox players were fixing the World Series. A claim that casts a deep shadow on the national pastime.
Populating other WatchMojo lists on shameful incidents, this baseball controversy remains infamous. The conspiracy suggests that the Cincinnati Reds' victory during the 1919 World Series was the result of a ploy by the Chicago White Sox, who purposefully lost the championship for gambling profit. Those suspected, notably shoeless Joe Jackson, were tried and found innocent.
He's remembered for what he might have done, and that suspicion that maybe he didn't really do it, or didn't know what he was doing because he was an ignorant Southern boy. Maybe that's what makes him most famous of all.
However, 8 professional players, including Jackson, were still banned from baseball for life, though details of their culpability is still debated today. Sports are meant to unite us in competition and camaraderie. Using them for profit in this way may be the most unsportsmanlike offense there is.
Those 8 Black Sox have paid the price for our forgiveness of the flaws and the errors and the frailties of all these superstar athletes that have followed. If the sins of the fathers are less in this case than the sins of the sons, in my opinion, and those men were scapegoated.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.